Hey plant parents, my name is Paris and I am the plant education coordinator here at the Sill, and today I will be sharing tips and tricks with you all regarding spring plant care. And this is because as the seasons change, so do our indoor plant needs. Daylight hours and temperatures start to increase at the beginning of spring, which actually indicates the start of the growing season for our plants. Therefore, kicking your care routine up a notch can help to ensure that your plants thrive a little bit more happily during this transition. So one of the first things you may need to consider is introducing more water for your plants. With increased temperatures and daylight hours means that our plants' metabolic activity is actually boosting, meaning that they're going to take up water at a much more frequent basis. Therefore, it'll be best to kind of check up on your plants a little bit more periodically to see how they are adjusting to these fluctuations and maybe where increases of water may need to be made in the watering schedule. And other than checking the moisture of the soil to see when plants are ready for water, you can also check for physical indications that they may be displaying, indicating they are thirsty, like leaf curl, wilting, and drooping. However, plants that will be placed in more lower light conditions won't be exposed to those same fluctuations, so you actually may not see any kinds of changes in their watering due to that. In some instances, we may need to pull back on sunlight because we may have moved a few of our plants directly in or closer to a window due to the lack of sunlight that they were exposed to in the winter months. Spring is also a good time to consider pruning and grooming our house plants because the removal of, dead, lackluster, blemished foliage, as well as just cleaning the leaves of our plants helps to remove any kind of pest or disease strongholds, which keeps our plants happier and healthier during the growing season. Not only that, but cleaning the leaves of our plants also helps to keep chlorophyll open to sunlight in order for them to absorb it, as too much dust accumulation or residue can actually hinder photosynthesis for our plants. So keeping the leaves nice and shiny and dust-free can make sure that they are absorbing all the light energy that you are giving them so they can grow more sufficiently. Pruning can also be done to train desired growth for certain species, like facilitating branching or even new growth if it has been stunted. You may also think about repotting some of your plants during spring because they've been actively growing throughout the year and may have outgrown their container. Or they may just need a simple soil replenishment because they've used up all of the nutrients that is within the soil. Therefore, repotting doesn't always mean upgrading in container size. Sometimes it could just mean changing out the soil. So usually it's best to check up on our plants every 12 to 18 months and upgrade to a larger size if needed. If they still have room to continue growing within the planter that they're housed in, you can feel free to just replenish them with fresh soil and keep them in there for the time being until they outgrow it. The start of the growing season is also a good time to possibly consider fertilizing our houseplants. So much like we take vitamins in order to boost our health or immunity, fertilizer works in the same manner to help promote growth, plant vigor, as well as stimulating maybe bud growth, fruit development, fruiting, or flowering, depending on what we're actually fertilizing for. Lastly, once temperatures remain consistently above 55 degrees both day and night, you can feel free to move some of your house plants outdoors for the growing season. The increased light and temperatures will help our plants to grow a little bit more prolifically, spurring out a lot of new growth, as well as possibly helping to induce blooming for some of them. Keep in mind, however, that plants that are moved outside in those brighter conditions and hotter temperatures means that they will need to be watered at a much more frequent basis, possibly several times a week. Also, make sure that plants that are placed outside are always in containers that contain a drainage hole at the bottom to ensure that excess debris and water doesn't accumulate by the root system. And also make sure that your plants are sheltered from strong winds during maybe times of storm, because a lot of strong winds can actually brush against our leaves heavily and lead to mechanical damage, which is irreversible, which of course we do not want for our houseplants. So those are all the spring plant care tips and tricks that I have for you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you happen to have any questions or concerns regarding spring plant care, don't hesitate to reach out to us at thesill.com/contact, or feel free to explore our plant care blog and resources on our website. See you next time, plant parents, and happy spring!